Hi everybody, this is a instruction guide or installation guide on the Anmytek round wooden chandelier. It's basically a hanging light that you hang over your kitchen table or dining room table. This here's the stuff that it comes with. Quite a bit of stuff, and then the tools that I used, or some of them. It's not too difficult. So this is how to take down the old one. It's simple, really. There's just like a little locking screw that you unscrew right there. Once you get that off, then you just sort of turn the mounting screw to the left, and it should just come right out of the mounting bracket. Listen, also you want to make sure you're not fiddling around with it as a live wire. So, you know, the $5 at Home Depot, you can get a live wire tester. Make sure the switch is off. And then test it when the switch is off to make sure it's not live, because it will hurt. Anyway, so then once you get, make sure it's not a live deal. You just can take the old mounting bracket off. And use the new mounting bracket that's supplied with the lamp. An electric screwdriver might be better. I switched. The ratcheted one takes forever, especially on some these mounting screws are long. While I'm pulling this mount out, I made two big mistakes during this installation, and I'll make sure to alert you of that before you get to that part, so you don't make the same mistake as me, because then you end up duplicating work. Also, at the very end, my battery died, so I didn't get the final little wiring in. It is not very much that I missed, but I did miss the final wiring, and I'll go over that with you at the end. You know, which wire goes to what connection, and then you use these wing nuts just like you see on the old wiring. Alright, so now that's the old mounting bracket, and there's the ground, which is always the green nut. Just take that off. Again, if you checked everything, there's nothing live, so you shouldn't worry about touching anything. Get your wires out of the box there so you have some room to fool with it. And you take those old wing nuts. They supply you with some, so you could probably just use the ones they supply you with. And once you take the old wing nuts off, there you go. The old thing is ready for the trash. So here's the new rig, and there's the new mounting bracket. And it comes actually hooked up onto the chain, so you're gonna end up taking it off of the chain there. And then there's the wiring. And you're gonna end up cutting this wire most likely, unless you're hanging it really far. anyway, the first thing you're going to want to do is fish it through the little pole that has a hole in it. And there it is, rather simple. Fish the whole thing through because you're going to fasten it to the actual light fixture, you know, the thing that holds the bulbs. So just pull the wire through carefully. Try not to, you know, yank it through that it'll strip the protective rubber off of it. But there we go. And then once you pull it all the way through, it's rather simple. You just screw it in. Okay. Until it's nice and snug. All right. That's where it'll go. I wouldn't worry so much about these now. But oh yeah, you got to fish it through the top bracket, or the top whatever that thing is. Just like it holds the 3 poles that go from it to the, you know, chandelier. Oh, sorry about that. Can't usually go more than a minute without them barking. So you fish it through, you know, you're going to fish it all the way through, just like the other ones, and then screw it on. Okay, so there we are. Let's screw it on there. Make it nice and tight. Then these 3 support bars are rather simple. They unscrew to each of the and are attached to each of the little fasteners. It's actually rather straightforward. So while I'm doing this, again at the end, well, the mistake I made, and I should have known better, is while I'm fooling around up there, I didn't fasten the light with like a rope or heavy string. I just sort of set it on the ladder, and you know, I was just being lazy. You gotta fasten it with, if you don't have a second person to hold it, and even that's difficult, just, you'll see, I'll tie it to the rope so that it's sitting there secure and you're not balancing it on top of the ladder. That was stupid. So I'll show you what I mean, but I mean, you know, it's a hanging light and you can't hold it with one hand while wiring it with the other, so there's got to be a way to hold it up there. So I use a rope or string, and the second mistake I made was putting the wire through at the full length and then trying to strip it after it's already up there. And let me tell you, that's really hard. to strip with your arms up like that, it's better to do it. Just cut the wire down below, pull the black stuff off. It's funny, I can sit here and talk about this because I'm such a terrible editor and didn't take all this real long, tedious stuff out. But anyway, so long story short, have a rope or string, and I'll show it, the difference, to hold it to the bracket so it's swinging up there and gives you some slack. And the second thing is the wire. You can see how long it is. There's a lot of extra wire. You're not going to be able to cram all that wire in the box. So, you're going to want to cut the wire before you pull it up there. And strip it, and give yourself a lot of room with the 3 stripped wires. That's another mistake. If you leave it with just a little bit of room, you have no flexibility when you're trying to put those little wing nuts on there. Anyway, so I'm sitting there talking through this whole thing because of my awful editing. So we got that done. Now I'm putting the mounting bracket. This is the new mounting bracket, and I didn't do a great job of having that the camera on my aiming correctly there. But it's rather simple. Put the wires outside of the box, but on one side is probably your best bet. And you just put the screws in just like that. It's not rocket science here. And fasten them down. Don't go crazy tightening it. If you strip it, you're going to have all kinds of a pain in the butt putting a new box in there, or Tapcon or something. So I should have edited this part. Can't even see what I'm doing here, but in any case, now what? Oh yeah, I think I'm putting the ground. Okay, so the ground coming out of the ceiling, you can't see it here, is going to be probably a raw wire. So tie the one coming out of the ceiling, or put it around the green mounting screw. So you can see I did that, and then have the rest of it sitting out for you to fasten it. Now I'm measuring the chain because you got to figure out the length. So once you put the chain, figure out how long you want it. I put a piece of tape to mark where I wanted the chain, and then I go ahead and bend the chain and pull it off at the length I want. Now your alternative here is to loop the chain back and goof around with it, and it looks just awful. It's much better to just open the chain link, pull the length out, and then refasten it with the proper length. The folks that sit there and tie the extra lengths, it just looks real bad, in my opinion. So I wouldn't do that. So once you have the correct length, then you're going to want to put the wire, the light wire,